You have been at the same company for 6 years. You never made a fuss. And the guy who joined last spring just became your manager. Funny how that works. I have been building software for over a decade. I have hired engineers, I have promoted engineers, and I have watched genuinely brilliant developers quietly wreck their own careers by doing everything they were told was the right thing. Show up. Be reliable. Do not rock the boat. Wait your turn. It sounds like loyalty. It sounds like the mature, grown-up way to have a career. And for a lot of people, it is the exact thing that keeps them underpaid and overlooked for years. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Companies do not reward loyalty. They reward leverage. And most of the behaviors we call loyalty are just leverage you are voluntarily giving away for free. So today, I want to walk through 5 career traps that look exactly like loyalty from the inside, but read as stagnation from the outside. This is not a pitch to job hop every 8 months. It is a reality check. Let's start with the most expensive one of all. The 10-year veteran who earns less than the new hire. This is the classic. You stay at one company because you like the people, you know the code base, and starting over sounds exhausting. Fair enough? But here is what happens to your salary while you stay. Internal raises are calculated as a percentage of what you already earn. 3% here, a cost of living bump there. A good year might get you 5. Meanwhile, the market rate for your role is moving 8, sometimes 12% a year during a hot cycle. So every year you stay, the gap between what you earn and what you are worth on the open market gets wider. Then the company needs to hire someone at your level. They cannot get anyone decent at your salary because your salary is 2 years behind reality. So they pay the new person the actual market rate, which is more than you. You now train the person who earns more than you, using knowledge you built over 6 years. Think about the maths on that over a career. A 10,000-pound gap, compounded across a decade, is not a rounding error. It is a deposit on a house. It is a pension you will never get back. And the cruel part is that the same loyalty that cost you the money is the thing that makes you feel too guilty to fix it. This is not a horror story I made up. It is the default outcome of staying still while the market moves. The loyalty feels warm. The bank balance does not. The second trap is quieter, and it dresses up as patience, waiting to be noticed. You keep your head down. You do excellent work. You assume that if you are good enough for long enough, someone above you will eventually see it, tap you on the shoulder, and hand you the promotion you have earned. Let me save you a few years. Nobody is coming. Not because your managers are evil, but because they are busy. They are managing 8 other people. And the person who is loudly advocating for themselves in every one-to-one is a lot easier to promote than the quiet genius who never asks for anything. Recognition is not a reward that gets automatically distributed to the most deserving. It is a resource that gets allocated to whoever makes the strongest, clearest case. When you wait to be noticed, you are outsourcing the most important decision in your career to someone who thinks about it for about 4 minutes a quarter. The engineers who get ahead are not always the best engineers. They are the ones who made their impact legible. They wrote it down. They said it out loud in the review. Waiting to be noticed is not a strategy. It is a retirement plan with no pension. Number 3. And this one is dangerous precisely because it feels like a virtue. Being the safe pair of hands. You are the reliable one. The person they give the critical, boring, load-bearing work to because they know you will not drop it. The on-call hero. The one who keeps the legacy payment service alive that nobody else understands. It feels great to be trusted like that. Here is the catch. The work that makes you indispensable in your current role is very often the work that makes you unpromotable. If you are the only person who can keep a critical system running, your manager has a strong incentive to keep you exactly where you are. Moving you up means finding someone to replace the irreplaceable, and that is a headache they would rather avoid. So you get trusted, you get relied on, you get thanked in the all hands, and you get left in the same seat for 3 years, while the visible, risky, high-status projects go to people who are seen as future leaders. The way out is not to become unreliable. It is to deliberately hand off the thing only you can do. Document the payment service. train someone up, free yourself from the role that traps you, and go put your hands on the work that actually gets people promoted. Being dependable is good. Being so dependable that you become load-bearing furniture is a trap. Make yourself valuable, not immovable. This next one is the trap that costs the most actual money, and almost nobody checks for it. Letting your salary quietly drift below market. Most engineers have no idea what they are actually worth. They know what they earn, they know it went up a bit last year, and they assume it is roughly fair because the company seems reasonable. Meanwhile, the market has moved, their salary has not kept pace, and the gap is now sitting at 15 or 20% without anyone saying a word. The reason this happens is that your employer has zero incentive to tell you that you are underpaid. Why would they? If you are doing great work and not complaining, the cheapest thing they can possibly do is nothing. The correction does not come to you. You have to go and find it. That means actually knowing the numbers. Talk to recruiters, even when you are not looking. Compare notes with peers at other companies. Look at levels.fyi. The engineers who stay at market rate are not luckier or greedier. They just refuse to let a comfortable feeling substitute for an actual number. Comfort is not the same as being paid fairly. Sometimes it is the price you pay for it. And finally, the one that sits underneath all the others. Never testing your value on the open market. This is the deepest form of the loyalty trap because it feels like commitment, and it is really just fear. You never interview. You never take the call from the recruiter. You tell yourself it would feel disloyal or that it is a waste of everyone's time since you are not planning to leave. So you go years without ever finding out what you are actually worth to anyone other than your current employer. Here is why that matters, even if you never plan to quit. An interview is the single most accurate salary benchmark that exists. Not a website, not a rumor, an actual offer with an actual number on it. Without that, you are negotiating your entire career from a position of total ignorance, and your manager knows it. When you have a real offer in your back pocket, everything changes. Your confidence in reviews, your willingness to push back, your sense of what you can ask for. You do not even have to leave. You just have to know that you could. An option you never exercise is still worth having. Loyalty with no alternative is not loyalty. It is dependence wearing a nicer coat. So here is the actual takeaway. None of this is an argument against staying somewhere you love, working with people you rate, on problems that matter to you. That is a genuinely good life. The point is that loyalty should be a choice you make with your eyes open, not a default you drift into because leaving feels like effort. Real loyalty comes from a position of options. You stay because you weighed it against real alternatives and decided this is where you want to be. The trap is loyalty that comes from never checking, never asking, never knowing your own worth. That is not commitment. That is just inertia with good PR. Know your number. Make your impact loud. Refuse to become the person nobody can afford to promote. Keep one foot in the market, even when you are perfectly happy. Then, if you choose to stay, you are staying as a free agent, not as furniture. If this one pokes something you have been quietly ignoring, the subscribe button is right there. And if you know someone who has been the safe pair of hands for way too long, you know exactly what to do.